She is gone, and you are still here. The bed feels too big. The silence screams. Every corner of your life holds a ghost of what was, and you wonder if this pain will ever end. But here is what Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher emperor who faced betrayal, loss, and unimaginable grief, would tell you in this moment. This is not happening to you. This is happening for you. Before we go deeper into this ancient wisdom that can transform your suffering, subscribe to this channel. We do not offer easy comfort here. We offer the hard truth that actually heals. Marcus Aurelius lost 8 of his 13 children. He watched them die, helpless to save them despite being the most powerful man in the known world. His wife, Faustina, was rumored to be unfaithful, and whether true or not, he had to endure the whispers, the doubt, the humiliation. He faced plague, war, betrayal by those he trusted most. And through it all, he wrote. In his private journal, which we now call Meditations, he reminded himself of truths that kept him standing when everything around him collapsed. The first truth he would tell you is this: everything that happens is part of nature. Relationships end, love fades, people change, she leaves. This is not an aberration or a cosmic mistake or evidence that the universe is against you. This is how things work. People come together and they drift apart. Connections form and they dissolve. This is the natural order, as natural as seasons changing, as inevitable as day turning to night. You wanted permanence in a world of impermanence. You wanted control over what cannot be controlled. You wanted another human being, with her own will and her own path, to remain fixed in your life forever. But this wanting was always opposed to reality. Marcus would tell you that your suffering comes not from her leaving, but from your insistence that she should not have left, from your belief that this should not be happening, from your resistance to what is. He wrote, "Accept whatever comes to you woven in the pattern of your destiny, for what could more aptly fit your needs?" This sounds harsh when you are in pain. It sounds like dismissal of your grief. But it is not. It is the pathway through grief. Because what is the alternative? To rage against what already happened? To torture yourself with if only and what if? To refuse to accept reality because acceptance feels like betrayal of what you had? Reality does not need your acceptance to be real. She left. That is a fact, as solid as the ground beneath your feet. Your refusal to accept it does not change it. Your anger about it does not reverse it. Your bargaining with the universe does not undo it. All your resistance accomplishes is adding a second layer of suffering on top of the first. The first suffering is the pain of loss, which is natural and unavoidable. The second suffering is your refusal to accept the loss, which is optional and in your control. Marcus Aurelius would sit with you in this pain. He would not tell you to get over it quickly or to pretend it does not hurt. He felt his own losses deeply, but he would show you how to feel the pain without being destroyed by it, how to grieve without losing yourself in grief, how to honor what was without being imprisoned by what is no longer. The Stoic practice in the face of loss is not to suppress emotion but to see clearly. You loved her. That love was real. The connection mattered, but now it has ended, and that ending does not erase the value of what existed. It does not mean it was all a lie or a waste or a mistake. It simply means that chapter is closed, and you are standing at the beginning of a new chapter, whether you wanted this new chapter or not. Here is what Marcus would ask you: what is within your control right now? Not yesterday. Not what she did or why she did it. Not whether she will come back. Right now, what is actually in your power? Your thoughts, your interpretations, your choices about how to respond, your decision about who you will become through this experience. That is all, and that is everything. You cannot control that she left. You can control whether you learn from this or simply repeat the same patterns with someone new. You cannot control her feelings. You can control whether you become bitter or whether you remain open to love. You cannot control the past. You can control whether you use this pain to grow or whether you let it diminish you. This is where your power lives. Not in changing what happened, but in deciding what it means and what you will do with it. And this power is absolute. No one can take it from you. She cannot take it. Your friends cannot take it. Your circumstances cannot take it. It is yours, always, if you claim it. Marcus Aurelius would tell you something else. Something you need to hear even though you will resist it. You are making this about you, and it is not about you. Her leaving is about her path, her needs, her growth, her decisions based on her internal world that you do not and cannot fully understand. But your ego has turned it into a referendum on your worth. Your mind has created a story where her departure proves something terrible about you, where her choice to leave is evidence of your inadequacy, where the end of this relationship confirms your deepest fears about being unlovable. This story is not true. It feels true. It sounds convincing. But it is a fiction your wounded ego has constructed to make sense of pain. And the problem with this fiction is that it keeps you trapped in suffering far longer than necessary. Because if her leaving proves you are not enough, then you need her return to prove you are enough. You have given away your power. You have made your worth dependent on her choice. And this is a prison. The Stoic liberation is to separate what happened from what you make it mean. She left. That is what happened. Everything else, the story about what this reveals about you, the conclusions about your future, the judgments about your worth, is added by your interpretation. And you can choose a different interpretation. Not a delusional one, not a fantasy that denies reality, but one grounded in truth rather than ego protection. Here is a truer interpretation. She made a choice based on her own needs, values, preferences, and path. This choice reveals information about compatibility, timing, and what she wants, not about your fundamental worth as a human being. The relationship ended not because you are deficient, but because something was not aligned. Maybe you are not right for each other. Maybe the timing was wrong. Maybe she has her own wounds and patterns that made staying impossible. Maybe you both needed to grow in ways that required separation. Maybe 1,000 things, most of which have nothing to do with you being inadequate. Can you hold this perspective? Can you see that her leaving is about the relationship, not about your value? Can you understand that you can be a good man, a worthy man, a man of character and depth, and still have relationships end? The ending does not negate your worth. It reveals a mismatch, a misalignment, a chapter that needed to close so new chapters could open. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Everything is only for a day, both that which remembers and that which is remembered." He was reminding himself of impermanence. Nothing lasts forever. Not your pain, not her absence, not even the memory of what you had together. All of it will fade with time, becoming softer, less sharp, eventually just a part of your history that shaped you but does not define you. If you are finding guidance in these words, take a moment to subscribe. These teachings go deep, and you will need repeated exposure to break free from the patterns trapping you in unnecessary suffering. But right now, the impermanence feels like a curse. You do not want the memory to fade. You want her back. You want what you had. You want the clock reversed. And this wanting is natural. Let yourself feel it, but do not obey it. Do not let it control your choices. Because what you want and what is good for you are not always the same thing. Marcus would ask, is wanting her back the same as needing her back? Can you distinguish between the preference for her presence and the belief that you cannot be happy without it? Because one is a natural human desire and the other is a form of imprisonment. One allows you to grieve and move forward and remain open to new love. The other keeps you stuck, waiting, refusing to live fully until she returns. The Stoic path after loss is not to stop caring. It is to care while also living. To honor what was while also embracing what is. To feel the grief without drowning in it. To acknowledge the pain without making it your identity. You are not the guy she left. You are a human being navigating loss with as much wisdom and dignity as you can muster. And that is enough. Here is another truth Marcus would share. You are using this pain to avoid something harder. Sitting in the wound, replaying what went wrong, fantasizing about her return, analyzing every moment looking for where you failed. All of this is easier than actually moving forward. All of this lets you stay in the familiar territory of this relationship, even if that territory is now made of pain. Moving forward means entering unknown territory. It means admitting this is really over. It means facing the fear of starting again, of being alone, of not knowing if you will find this again. The pain is familiar. The unknown is terrifying. So you cling to the pain. You make it your companion. You feed it with memories and what-ifs and if-onlys. But Marcus would tell you, this is cowardice dressed as loyalty. True courage is accepting what is and walking into what will be, even though you cannot see the path clearly, even though you do not know how the story ends, even though you are afraid. What would Marcus Aurelius tell you to do practically, today, while the wound is still fresh? He would tell you to examine your judgments. You are not just feeling the loss. You are adding judgments to the loss. She was the one. I will never find this again. I wasted years. I am back to square one. Everyone else is moving forward while I am stuck. I am too old, too damaged, too whatever to start over. These judgments amplify suffering exponentially. The Stoic practice is to catch these judgments and question them. Was she really the one, or is that a story your mind tells because accepting that she was just one possibility among many feels like diminishing what you had? How do you know you will never find this again? Can you predict the future? Are the years wasted, or did you learn, grow, experience love, become more of who you are? Starting over is not going back to square one. You bring everything you learned, everything you became, into the next chapter. That is not square one. That is a higher square. Question every judgment, not to replace it with toxic positivity or fake gratitude for pain, but to see if the judgment is actually true or just a fearful story. Most of the time, it is a story, and stories can be rewritten. Marcus would also tell you to focus on what is in front of you today. Not the future you fear. Not the past you cannot change. Today, what is yours to do today? Maybe it is just getting out of bed. Maybe it is going to work and doing your job competently. Maybe it is calling a friend and being honest about your struggle. Maybe it is going to the gym and moving your body. Maybe it is reading something that feeds your mind instead of scrolling through her social media. Small actions. Present moment focus. This is how you rebuild after loss. Not through grand gestures or massive life changes, but through showing up for yourself in small ways, consistently, even when you do not feel like it. Especially when you do not feel like it. Because discipline is what carries you when motivation is gone. And right now, motivation is gone. So you need discipline. The emperor had discipline. He woke up every day and did what was required of him even when he was grieving, even when he was exhausted, even when he wanted to give up. He wrote, "At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, I have to go to work, as a human being. What do I have to complain of, if I am going to do what I was born for?" You were not born to lie in bed replaying the past. You were born to live, to grow, to contribute, to become. Her leaving does not change your purpose. It only reveals whether you can stay committed to your purpose even when circumstances are painful. Here's another practice Marcus would give you: voluntary discomfort. You are already in pain. Use it. The Stoics practiced voluntary hardship to train themselves to handle involuntary hardship. They went without food to prepare for scarcity. They slept on hard beds to prepare for discomfort. They imagined losing everything to prepare for loss. You do not need to imagine loss. You are in it, so use it as training. Can you sit with the discomfort without numbing it? Without reaching for distraction, substances, rebound relationships, anything to make the pain stop? Can you just be with it, feeling it fully, letting it move through you? This is training. This is building strength. Every moment you resist the urge to escape the pain, you become more capable of handling difficulty. Every time you choose presence over avoidance, you develop resilience. And you will need this resilience, not just for future relationships, but for life. Life brings loss. Parents die. Friends drift away. Careers end. Bodies age. The more you can learn to be with impermanence, with loss, with the natural ending of things, the more free you become. Because you stop living in fear of the next loss. You know you can handle it. You have trained for it. Marcus Aurelius would tell you one more thing, perhaps the most important thing. Do not let this make you bitter. Bitterness is the poison you drink hoping she will suffer. It destroys you from the inside while doing nothing to her. She has moved on with her life. Your bitterness is your problem, your prison, your choice. The Stoic alternative to bitterness is acceptance without resentment. She made a choice. You wish she had chosen differently. But she has the right to make her own choices, just as you have the right to make yours. Respecting that right even when it hurts you, this is maturity. This is freedom. This is love in its highest form. The form that wants the best for the other person even when that best does not include you. This does not mean you pretend to be happy about it. It means you accept that she gets to live her life according to her own values and desires, and that is not a betrayal of you. It is her exercising the same autonomy you want for yourself. The golden rule applies here too. You want to be free to choose. So does she. You want your choices respected even when they hurt others. So does she. Can you wish her well? Not right away, maybe. Not while the wound is fresh. But eventually, can you get to a place where you genuinely hope she finds what she is looking for, even if it is not with you? Because if you cannot, you are still trapped. You are still making your peace dependent on her suffering or her failure or her regretting her choice. And that is not peace. That is postponed suffering. Marcus wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." If you feel injured by her leaving, the best response is not to injure her back through bitterness, gossip, or sabotage. The best response is to become more of who you are capable of being. To let this break you open rather than shut you down. To use this pain as fuel for growth rather than an excuse for stagnation. What if her leaving was exactly what you needed, even though you did not want it? What if staying in that relationship would have kept you from becoming who you need to become? What if this loss, as painful as it is clearing space for something better, truer, more aligned? You cannot see this yet. You are too close, too hurt. But Marcus, looking at his life from the perspective of decades, saw that what seemed like catastrophes often turned out to be blessings in disguise. Not because the pain was fake, but because the growth that came from the pain was real. Trust the process, not blindly, not naively, but with the wisdom that comes from understanding that you do not see the whole picture. You see this moment, this pain, this loss, but you do not see where this leads. You do not see who you will become because of this. You do not see the connections that are now possible because this one ended. You do not see the future version of yourself who will look back on this moment and be grateful, not for the pain, but for the strength that came from walking through it. So what would Marcus Aurelius tell you after she left? He would tell you that you are stronger than you know, that this pain is not permanent, that your worth is not determined by her choice, that you have work to do, a path to walk, a self to build, and none of that work requires her presence. He would tell you to feel everything, to hide from nothing, but also to keep moving, to honor the past without living in it, to accept the present even when it hurts, to face the future with courage even when you cannot see the way forward. He would tell you that you are not alone in this. Every person who has ever loved has faced loss. Every human being walking the earth knows this particular flavor of pain. You are not uniquely broken. You are not specially cursed. You are simply human, experiencing the human condition, which includes both the joy of connection and the pain of separation. And finally, he would tell you this: you get to decide what this means. Not what happened, that is fixed, but what it means about you, about your future, about your capacity to love again. You get to write that story. You can write a story of victimhood and bitterness and permanent damage. Or you can write a story of resilience and growth and increasing wisdom. Both are available to you. Both will feel true if you tell them enough times. But only one leads to freedom. Choose the story that makes you stronger. Choose the interpretation that serves your growth. Choose to see this loss as a chapter in a larger story that is still being written, not as the ending of the story itself. And then live into that choice. Wake up tomorrow and do the next right thing. And the next day, do it again. And slowly, day by day, you will find that the pain loses its grip, that life becomes possible again, that you are not who you were before, but someone deeper, wiser, more resilient. She left. You remain. And what you do with that remaining is entirely up to you. Marcus Aurelius faced impossible odds, unbearable losses, and betrayals that would break most men. And he remained standing, remained kind, remained committed to virtue. Not because it was easy, but because he knew that his character was the only thing that truly belonged to him, the only thing that could not be taken away without his consent. Your character is being forged in this fire. What emerges depends on how you choose to bear this heat. Choose wisdom, choose dignity, choose growth, and subscribe to this journey we are on together, because the path of wisdom is not walked alone. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. And most importantly, remember, Marcus Aurelius would look at you in this moment and see not a broken man, but a man being given the opportunity to prove what he is made of. Do not waste this opportunity.